Hello everybody, this is Tracy from Tracy's Art and Crafts. I hope you're all doing well. Oh my god, my printer's making noise again. Let's see if I can just move it. Shh. Be quiet, printer. Right, so I am here today. We are going to have a little bit of fun today. We are going to make a double flip triple pocket. Try to say that when you've had a drink. A double flip triple pocket. So that's what we're going to make today. A lovely lady, I've completely forgotten her name, I was supposed to write it down, but my phone is filming so I can't get the message, but a lovely lady did say she had some thin paper, she didn't know what to do with it. This is one of the perfect projects for it. I also have another project we can do with it. So you can use any form of paper, but what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to use thin paper, how to thicken it up without compromising the pattern on the paper, and I'm going to show you how you can just use thin paper for pockets. It is okay. Some people are clumsy and feel like they'll rip thin paper, but genuinely, your journal, you're not going to be taking things and just ripping them out, like taking something like this and just ripping it out like this and ramming it in. You're going to be quite gentle because it's going to be something that is precious to you. So generally you can use thin paper, but I am going to show you how to thicken it up as well, because parts of this will need to be thickened up. So I'm just going to go through my papers and try to find some thin papers that I've printed off, because I do have some. And I do use thin paper too. Oh, now you know I'm saying it and all I can find is thick paper. Let me just grab this out. I have some bits here. This is a kit from Happiness and Crafting. It is Cherry Blossom. Thought I had printed off some pieces really thin, but now I'm coming to them, they feel actually quite thick. Yeah, they're quite thick. Hang on 1 second. I am sorry. Here we go. These will in. Let's grab ourselves a couple of pages that we like. So I'm going to take quite a plain page. And then I also want a really decorative page. Now of course I'm using A4, but you can use any size paper that you want. I'm going to get a couple of decorative pages just in case I want them. There we go. These ones are from Shabby Dabby Doodah, I believe, or are they G from Happiness and Crafting? I don't remember. But they are all down in my description box, so do go check them all out. They're all really good. Yeah, unfortunately I can't remember who these are. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is take one of our plain papers, and this is the one we really want to reinforce. So we want to decide how big we want the biggest pocket on our page to be. Now I know all my pages are half of an A4 page. I know that because I know what size my journal is. So you need to go to whatever size your journal is, have a look at your pages, or whatever size you plan to make it. Decide from there how big you want your pocket. So this is the maximum I can have my pocket. I won't be having it that big. So I am just going to do, I'm going to be tearing because I'm lazy. Please do cut properly if you wish. Or, you know, tear if you wish, you know, be lazy with me. Why not, I say. So I want it to be a bit smaller on the page lengthwise. So I'm just taking a little bit off of each. I am eyeballing it straight by using my cut and mat lines to sort of get a good straight-ish idea of what I'm doing. Oh wow, that did not go straight at all. Let me just cut that piece. There we go, that's a bit better. That'll do. Now this piece really does need to be thick on what I'm doing here. Let me see which way around this goes, the right end. Let's do it this way. Yeah, this piece here really does need to be thick because it's going to be directly stuck onto the page to put things in and out of. This is the one that could be compromised. So I would highly recommend thickening this one up. So this is the size I'm going for. What are we looking at? About 4 inches. 4 by, how many? 4 by 7.5. Okay, so that's what I'm going for. So to thicken it up, I like to use old book page. Now, if it's super thin, you may see writing beneath it. So the type of pages you want to use are either ones you like the writing on. For instance, I love all of this. I think that would look lovely, just slightly showing through. Or you want to use your plain pieces. These tend to be thicker as well. I'm just going in with normal book page. Okay, I'm just going to go for a normal page as well because I don't think that's going to show through whatsoever. Now the first thing I do is take a glue stick. A glue stick will work fine for this, especially if it's a thin book page. This book page that I'm using here is actually from the 1700s, this book. So we're looking at a very old book here, but you don't want to use all the pages, you see. Now to thicken it up, I would go 3 pages thick, and all you do is take your glue stick and just glue over your book page. No, you don't have to use book page. This is not going to get seen whatsoever. So you could use, instead of book page, you could use junk mail. Junk mail works wonderfully. I've used junk mail many times. Another one that I really like to use is magazines. So you could use them. You could use old newspapers. Anything really that is just going to bulk up some thickness. They don't have to be thick pages in a book page. These ones are really thin and flimsy. But by doubling it up over 3 pieces, and then also the glue that's going in between these pieces, it turns it into a really thick, almost cardboard-like piece. Obviously, if you want it thinner, you can go thinner. Of course you can. So take those 3 pieces of glue. Can you see I haven't glued very well at all? Let me see if I can show you. Can you see there the line where I haven't glued it properly? It's fine because we're not going to the edges. If we're going to the edges, just be more careful than I have. But we're not going to the edges, so it's good. Now what I do at this point is I glue this piece, but I will also pop, let me get rid of my rubbish. I'll also pop a bead of tacky glue around the edges. You just want a little bit of a stronger glue if you're using a basic glue stick. If you're using Scotch Create in Germany. Oh my God, Tracy. Scotch Create in the US or Scotch Permanent here in the UK. There are also Elmer Crafters glue. Not the school glue. There's one called Crafters glue. There is a stronger Yoo-hoo as well. If you're using these stronger, more permanent ones, you could probably get away with it. I used to use Scotch Permanent, but it became too costly, so I stopped using it. But oh, bead of glue, Tracy, bead of glue. Yep, see, the best of us forget. If you didn't want to do this part, you can stitch round if you wanted to stitch. So feel free to adapt all this your way. Don't feel like you have to do it exactly how I do things. You know, take something, roll with it, use it for inspiration and do something your own way, how you like it done. Don't feel like you've got to copy me or anything, because the way I'm doing it isn't the only way. There are so many ways. So that will now give a structure. I would recommend putting that aside and making the other pockets to give it a chance to dry before you start cutting it and things, because if your scissors are very slightly blunt, they will tear because the glue's wet and so the paper's wet and everything. However, I'm on video, so I'm just going to be cutting this real quick. Try not to worry about perfection either. Oh, I see so many people going, oh, but I can't cut straight like that. Who cares? Like, it's just paper, right? Just try go for it. If you can't cut straight like this, grab yourself a DIY knife. This isn't a proper craft one, this is a DIY one, and you can get these here in the UK from the pound shop. The pack is £6 for £1. But I know you can get similar type of thing in the US. And a metal ruler. Line it up against something straight. It doesn't even have to be this, you know, a straight piece of paper or whatever. And then from there, you can take it, make sure the line's safe, and just trim off anything that you've gone over, you know, like that. And then you get yourself your straight line. But honestly, I don't care. So I go for eyeball, what looks good. That's enough, you know. It needs to look good, not be completely mathematically correct. Now I'm just going to round the corners. Again, wait for yours to dry. You'll get a nicer finish. Then if you, can you see here, look, I've got some tearing where I put the knife over it and it's like torn it a little bit. It's fine, inking will cover that, but for your purposes, you know, make sure you leave it to dry and that will work a lot better. Now from there we're going to make our double pocket flip. So this is the pocket. Hang on one second, let me put a thumb hole in this. Now this thumb hole does not like it when I've got glue on my paper, so bear with. Oh no, we're good. It's done fine. It's done okay today. So yeah, put a thumb hole in. I forgot about that. Now we are going to make the other two pockets. So this is going to be a pocket stuck down on 3 sides like so. That'll be a pocket. Now this is going to be really thick when it's dried. You can already see how thick it is. It's almost cardstock there. So this is going to be a really nice big sturdy one. You'll be able to put nice big sturdy journaling cards in there and things. Next we're going to do 2 smaller ones. Now these are going to have an element of this thinness. This is going to be a thin paper. Now this is a thin copyweight paper, and when I say thin I mean it's a cheap copyweight paper. So yeah, it's very thin. Now what I'm doing is, just in case you don't know, I'm about to cut off my borders. However, I want to see what size piece I want. So what I'm doing is I'm just folding it, and I was using my ruler for a really straight edge, but I'm just folding it like this so I can see where the halfway point is. Down like that. So literally I've just folded it round itself. Now I can not only cut off my borders, but I can also cut off the size I want. So I can do it all in one go is why I've done this. So I cut off my borders all together now. Like this. And then as I cut off my borders, I'm cutting the whole piece into the size I want. Now this next step is going to be easy, but it's going to take a little bit, so please bear with me. I promise you it is easy. We're going to do it step by step together. So we have our original piece, and this needs to be the width of your original piece, okay? Now you need to decide how long you want it. You can literally have it the whole length or part length, okay? I'm going to come up to about here, just because I like where the paper pattern is. Fold it to the length you want your pocket. Okay, don't worry about the corners not rounding, we're going to round them at the end. And then cut it to that length. At this point, I should tell you, you do want it to be a little bit bigger than what you want. Just a little tiny smidge. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut our corners in a weird way. This is going to give us the chance to turn this pocket into a more opening pocket, if you like. So we're going to just cut all of our corners off like that. Don't worry about being too precise. Everything will work out just fine, I promise. So let's just cut our corners off at an angle. There we go. Make the angle as big as you like for what we're about to do. We're going to open this up now, and we're going to take these edges. You can see, I'm sure now, what I'm doing here. We're going to take these edges and we're just going to fold them down, and these are going to be what we glue together. This will make the pocket not only a little bit sturdier, but also it will make it open up just that little bit more, easier to put things in and out of. So the next thing we want to do is take our glue and just glue together the flaps. You don't need a lot of glue at all, especially if you're using quite a strong tacky glue. I mean, this stuff is strong. It's going to hold thin paper just fine. There we go. Now at this point, if you want to ink, this is where you're going to start inking things as well. But first of all, we need to round our corners on all four corners with the same size corner round. Now if you're not corner rounding, you don't have to. You can leave sharp corners. There's no reason why you can't leave the sharp corners, okay? Don't feel like you've got to go out there and get that. Now I'm going to take, what size? You're the wrong size. Come here. I'm going to take my 1 inch punch and just give a thumb hole going through both. This will just indicate when you've got it in place that that is a pocket as well, allowing people to use it. You know, you don't have to have a thumb hole if you don't want. If you do want and you don't have a punch, take a lid and draw around it. Look, that's exactly the same size there. So you can just draw around it and then cut it out. You don't have to have all these tools. There are other things you can do. Same for the corners. If you look, if I had just used the, let me see if I put it a bit closer so you can see. If I just used this, I could draw around it and cut it out. So don't feel like you've got to. Now with some of your scrap papers, you could use this piece, you could use this one, although to be honest with you, this one is probably going to be my second pocket. Look, I just like how it fits there, but these can be overlapped. They are going to work so that they're overlapped, okay? So you don't have to go for the same size piece. I will be overlapping these as well, so I'll probably have them like this. So just so you know. But you want to use a little bit of your scrap. Now I recommend cutting off any edges you've got. This one's not going to matter because it's not going to show, but the top and bottom will show. I recommend cutting them off. You can corner round if you wish to on these pieces. I don't wish to, I'm fine. What I am going to do is start inking a little bit, because otherwise this is going to run away from me and I'm going to forget to ink. So I want to ink, I want a little bit of a brown edge. Use any colour ink. I've been using brown a lot just recently. I don't know why. I don't usually use the same colour. I usually change my colours up a lot, but yeah, the last couple of journals I've just been inking in brown for some reason. Must be having that moment. So the reason I like to have this base one as a plain one is that it can be written on. I like to leave some pieces plain. If you want the back to be written on and it's not as plain as this one, you can just stick a piece of square paper just over the top of that. Now another thing I like to do is ink the edges that are going to show on this piece. I find it quite important. Because can you see that's going to show quite a bit. Okay, so you want to fold your little piece of paper in half. This is going to be your little hinge. It's a super cute hinge. Now here I would highly recommend using tacky glue. So first of all I'm going to stick this part to here where I want the pocket to be. So I want my pocket to be roughly there. You can use your pocket on top just as a guide if you need to. Again, I'm using thin paper even for the hinge. You can use thin paper throughout the whole of this bit. I just highly recommend thickening up this base piece because it's going to add structure and sturdiness. And from there, line up directly. This is where you want to be careful. You really want to have this lined up quite straight. Like that. Pop your glue on the paper. Like so. Of course we've got more rounded corners here, so in a minute I am just going to open it up and make sure I don't have any glue on the underside because we don't want it getting stuck. So we're just going to wipe that away. You can use a wet wipe, dry wipe, whatever. I haven't got any at the moment. I've dried some, I don't know where they've gone. So can you see that has made it the perfect gap because I lined it up with this piece. So now it's going to work to fold, but it's not going to have too much of a bigger gap. So it's always easier to line up your piece if you're making hinges to the edge of your piece and then wrap the paper around. So I'm going to show you one more time how I do that. First things first, we're going to take these corners off. So again, we've folded a piece, we've cut the size we want for a pocket. I'm just going to fold the corners, cut the corners, sorry. I'm talking absolute rubbish today, I really am. There we go. Fold these down and glue it. Of course this works with any thickness paper, so don't be scared to get yourself your thin papers, but equally don't worry about using, you know, your thicker papers, your cardstock. This one can work with everything. The one that I'm going to show you tomorrow can only work with thin paper. But this one today can work with any thickness of paper that you wish to use. There we go. Just close these down and squish it. Oh, let's help if I had it straight, wouldn't it? Not straight whatsoever there. I think we'll be okay with it though. I think we can live with it. Maybe I'll put some lace and give it a little cover up. I'll do the cheeky crafty cover up. I'm just going to drink my drink. I've got myself some orange today. I don't always drink hot drinks. I only really drink one hot drink a day as well, so I don't have that many really. So, oh, corner round, of course. Nearly forgot, didn't I? So yeah, if you make mistakes like this, again, don't hang yourself up on them. If I should bring it up close, you can see I've folded it a bit wonky, and so it hasn't glued straight just there. I don't know if you can see that. Don't hang up on it. Ink it up. Pop a bit of lace over that. You can pop a bit of decorative paper over it. You could just leave it. I mean, it's not the end of the world. And what you need to remind yourself is it's just paper. Nothing's going to happen if it all goes wrong. It's just paper. If it goes wrong, it's bob in the bin. And that's why I like using a lot of things like book page and things that are from old ripped up books. Like that book that I show you all that's from the 1700s. It is really, really badly damaged. Right, so again we're going to take off another piece of paper, but this time I am going to just make sure it is the right size because, yeah, you see we need it to be smaller than that. So I'm going to bring it down to about here. Just pinch it, cut it, all is good. There we go. So again, I'm going to fold this in half. Glue the first half to the underneath of here. And I'm going to show you that you can overlap. So just overlap it with the last one, not a problem. This is going to be just fine. Now you're going to take your other pocket, line it up with the edge of this piece, this edge here going down. So line it up, glue the flap, there we go, and pop the flap over. Now if you wanted, you could add a third pocket, you could do whatever, you could add another really big pocket on there. You can just keep going if you wanted. I don't want it to be too thick, so I'm going to stop there. That gives me one pocket with the perfect gap down the middle. The second pocket, perfect gap, so everything moves fine, but it's not too big. Because if the gap's too big, it all just moves too much. There we go, and then this one will stick down on all three sides and you'll have a big pocket here. You've got writing space on all three, and I'll be decorating up the front too. That will add the decoration. You could add another flip of just paper onto there by just sticking on a piece of paper. Anything, you can really go to town on these. So let's make one more together, so that I feel like I've actually shown you properly, step by step, how to do it. And then we'll get decorating one of them. Let's pop this aside. I'm going to restart the video so I don't lose you guys. There we go, video restarted. And let's grab our next piece of paper. So I'm going to take this one this time. And again, I'm going to be tearing. I'm going to make this one shorter, I think, today. There we go. Let's make this one shorter so I can show you can do it all different sizes. So we're going to make this one a bit of a smaller one. So what size are we looking at here? This is about 3 1/8. 3 inches and 1/8 by 6. So about 3 by 6 roughly, what I've done there. You don't have to do measuring though, but feel free not to. There we go, just get rid of those bits of paper. So the first thing I want to do is thicken this up. So I'm going to pull in my book again. Use some of these boring pages. I like to keep these nice pages here. All the pages that I like, I keep within the book. I will use those for collage and things. I don't like to use those, you know, freely. I then check that the next 3 pages I want to use. Yep, so I'm happy using those. So I'm just going to get my glue again and just really quickly glue up these pages to thicken them up. If you keep them in the book, if they can stay in the book, they don't always like to stay in the book when it's a really old book. If you can, it helps keep the pages straight so that you don't get wonky pages, you know, like I had on the last one. Yeah, let's get this next one down. The good thing about this part is also you can use really cheap glue stick. It will be fine. You do need a lot though. Don't, you know, go too thin on it. I probably go about 4 coats of glue stick on there. So I do use, you know, I really go through glue stick when I do things like this. But of course you can use wet white glue for this. Just use a card or something to spread it. going on here? I've got a bit of everything stuck to everything. Are they my 3 pages? Yes, they are. There we go. Put my book aside. There's my pages. Now I'm going to glue this on again, making sure I put that bead of glue along the edge and try to remember, because I am forgetful. I hope you all had a really lovely Easter. My son's birthday was yesterday and he had a lovely day. He'd already had his presents early because he wanted them when his friends came round, because he got a new game console and stuff, so he wanted to use it with his friends and share it. So he'd already had his presents early, but he still had a good day. He went out with his dad and did a bit of getting his party food shopping in, and yeah, he had just a lovely time, so that was nice. So there we go, just stick that down. So this is the point where I was saying, if you get a card, if you use wet white glue and you just go over like this with the card, it helps spread out that glue a bit and helps stop some of the puckering. So now I'm just going to cut round the edges of this. Once you've made a couple, you know, at first it feels really daunting, especially if you're a beginner, but once you've made a couple, trust me, it is easy. It really is. You do get to a point where you can just make these and make a whole ton of them in one go. Especially if you do it in like a mass making kind of way, if you do it in like a conveyor belt way, where you're making them in stages. So at this point I'm just going to round the corners again. I love the corners being rounded. I think it just gives it a really lovely finished look. But you know, you can do it however you wish. I am just going to put that thumb hole in there as well. Again, I really like the thumb hole. I like large thumb holes as well. I like the smaller ones. But then I became a little bit oh, there we go. See what I mean? We get a really rough look when the glue is wet. So do wait for your glue to dry. The only reason I'm not is because I am doing a video, but normally I would sit this aside and make all the other parts of it first. I'm just going to ink it. It's just because a lot of crafters do this when they're on video. They will do something, but they're rushing it. Normally they would probably let the glue dry and stuff. Some people are impatient as well, but if you let the glue dry, you do get a better look and a better outcome. And that might frustrate someone to not be able to get their punches through and things. There we go, get rid of that. So now we're going to get some more decorative paper here. And again, I want to size it up with the edge of the border, because I'm going to be cutting the border anyway. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put this to the edge of the border, and then I'm just going to give it a little fold on its edge so I can see where the halfway mark needs to be. Fold it back on itself. And then just cut that out. Now this is one-sided paper that I'm using as well. So it's not only thin, it's one-sided too. I haven't printed on the backs of any of these. And like I say, you don't have to use book page to be thickening that up. It's just that I have so much book page, I'm drowning. So for me, book page is the right thing to use. But for you guys, it might be some junk mail, it might be magazines that you've got hundreds of, or just go for something that you've got a lot of that you just can't seem to use. So bringing this back in, this is looking lovely. So again, I'm going to cut the corners off, and I'm going to do both of these pockets together this time. so that we get it done a little bit quicker, and so that, you know, I can show you like the conveyor belt method. So you'd probably go through making a whole bunch of these. Oops. See, nearly folded up wonky again. These things happen. Don't worry too much about it all. And I did it again. Oh, we'll live with it. It will be fine. It's because I'm rushing, you see, because it's a video and I don't want to take too long. Yeah, and I'm only using a very tiny bit of beader glue. My glue isn't blocked, it's just me not squeezing it very hard, because I don't want to use too much. So there we go, stick that down. Move on to this one. Yeah. There we go. And just stick those together like so. So now we can just go corner round, ink and thumb hole. So corner round all of the pockets. There we are. And then just thumb hole them as well. Let's get rid of some of this rubbish that's just sort of gathering and flying everywhere. I do have to apologise for the state of my mat and everything. I have been crafting a storm today. I've got quite a few projects on the go. And they're just making a mess, you know. You know how it goes. So again, I'm just going to take some of these decorative bits. I'm going to cut them. I'm cutting them probably about 1.5 inches, to be honest with you. You can go as thick or as thin as you want. It's not a problem. I'm just going to measure these up to how big I want them. There we go, that's for that one. Make sure you don't mix up your hinges as well. Oops. There we are. Let's get rid of these bits of rubbish. Here we go, now we're ready to do the hinges. So I'm going to put the small one at the top, I think, this time. Oh, I haven't inked them, have I? What did I tell you about I would forget? There we go. And then once this is made, we can talk about decorating them as well. So we're going to get our hinge and we are going to stick it first to the underneath bit of this pocket, deciding right where we want it to be. I'm going to have it a bit higher this time. There we go. Now we're going to take our pocket, whichever way you want it, you know, decide how you want it. And you're going to line it up with the edge of this just here. Let's move everything out of the way. This edge of this piece. And this is how you're going to get the perfect gap for it to have movement. Then you're going to glue the paper, and you're going to glue the flap to the pocket rather than doing it the other way around, trying to guess what gap you need. This will create the perfect size gap that you need. Of course, you could use more decorative paper for your hinges. You could use ribbon. You know, it goes on forever. I haven't actually inked these ones either, so you get to see what that looks like, because I forget. My memory is a nightmare today. Well, every day. I'm always like this. I can't make excuses. I'm always like this. So there we go. Just quickly ink this round. The ink that I'm using today is ground espresso. It's a very dark brown, but I like it. I am going to ink this one just to show you how it's supposed to look, but you know, you can hide the hinges as well various ways. Like I said before, it's just paper. So first thing you're going to want to do is glue your hinge down. Don't forget, it can overlap at this point. You're absolutely fine. It's still going to work just fine. So, and this is the easiest way to do it, honestly, it really is. So we're going to glue that down, making sure the edge still folds. You know, everything is just going fine. Even if it doesn't though, if you're using thin paper, this is just so easy because you can remake a fold without a problem. So just straightening it up. So you want this again, put it right up against that edge, making sure it's nice and flush and perfect, exactly where you want it. We're going to take the glue and just glue the flap. And then from there, we're going to stick the flap to the pocket, and you're going to get the perfect size gap. Everything's going to work well. Remember to open up the pockets and just give it a little bit of a clean up so that we don't end up, oh, tore the paper a little bit there. It's okay, there's still lots of glue. There we go. So there we are, there is our pockets. Nice and easy. I don't have a journal with me at the moment, but say this here is your journal pocket, your journal page. You would glue it down on 3 sides here, and you would glue that down onto the page. You'd have a pocket in this part here, and this here would be a pocket. And then you'd have these two, which are lovely for putting in things like little tags, little journaling cards, where you have made the edge with either a tab or one of these paper bows or something, because then that little tab shows through just at this end. So they're really super cute, and let's decorate them up. Like I say, you can continue doing this. You can add a flapper paper over the top as well, so you had like a fold out bit where you could journal on. Then you had 2 pockets, then you've got this you can journal on as well. So you can really go to town with them. So let's see what time we're on. Oh no, we've got a bit of time, we're doing good. Let's get this a little bit decorated up, shall we? So I'm going to take some of that book page that we've been using, and I'm going to use a little bit of it on here. Why not, for a little bit of a collage. Put my glue lid back on, that would help. There we go. So when I'm decorating like this, I will use tacky glue, one that holds my papers down for longer, because I'm making journals that are expected to last for customers. If you are just making it for yourself and you're not expecting it to last like forever, You could use all sorts of things, double-sided tape and all sorts, but I find you need to be careful with double-sided tape because it can bleed through after a while, and you get this sort of, it almost looks mouldy, bleed through. If it's your own journal though, I still use double-sided tape on my own journals that are for me, because I know that over time, if that happens, I can happily just cover that bit up. So I'm not too worried, but you know, if I make it for somebody else, then they may not be able to do that. I love this, but I don't know if I want to keep them whole or if I am happy cutting off the bottom. I don't think they're for this piece. Oh yeah, I'm going to glue that down. So this is how I decorate things. I just sort of pick things by whim. Based on how I'm, you know, what I'm in the mood for really. What's on my desk, what I'm in the mood for. I have pulled out quite a few bits on my desk because I'm using it currently. I'm using this type of stuff. I love using these. Shabby Dabby Doodle uses these cut in half, and I quite like doing it as well. They do sometimes look really nice, just cut in half, these little labels. I'm not so keen on the bows and things always being cut in half. It's rarely I like that. I do sometimes. I have done a video recently where I cut the bow in half, but it's not often I like them cut in half. But some of the labels I do. Let's have a look. I've got some of these little ladies, but I've got them in a small version. Don't think I want more of the back to me at the moment. Sorry, I've got so much out at the moment. Oh, I like that one. So I'm just going to cut her out. So I get everything out of my way. I do work like this. I do make an absolute mess when I'm working. Trick to fussy cutting is keep your scissors still and keep moving the paper. I always fussy cut with big scissors as well. Personal preference. Some people can't fussy cut. There are various reasons why they can't. If one of your reasons you can't fussy cut are your hands, the Fiskar shears sometimes take the pressure off that. I get carpal tunnel because I dig the scissors into my thumb here, and I know the Fiskar shears can stop that sometimes because you're not going up and down, you're just going down. But if you do it the way I'm doing it, it's very minimal movement to your hands. But saying that, not everybody can fussy cut, unfortunately. If I had like a machine, I would definitely sell fussy cuts for people. Because there are a lot of people that can't fussy cut, but I don't have a machine. I do cut all my stuff by hand. And if I was selling it as well, I'd never get to do my own crafting. I'd be forever I'd be forever selling, you know, just fussy cutting all the time. Probably kill my hands as well in the process. And I've just bought a load of new stuff that I need to fussy cut, but oh my god, because I I'd already printed off loads of stuff and I hadn't fussy cut it. And the paper that I'd printed and not fussy cut was like this thick, like half a ream. And so I've finally got it down to about, you know, like the last few pages. And now I've gone and bought more fussy cuts to print and do, and seriously, I'm a nightmare to myself. Let's have a look for a word. I've got a few bits in here. I'm going to look for one of my words, I think. Quite like that, but I don't like the shape, and this is a good point. If you buy things that are cut, you know, to be cut a certain way, you don't have to keep them that way. You can just, you know, change the shape of them, turn it into how you want it to be. So I'm just going to darken the edges to help it to pop. And I think we'll just stick that down there. Oh no, I like up the top here actually. Let's put that there. Maybe I'll put a little flower or something down here. What should we pop down here? What do I have? I did want to use that bow. Oh wow, that's cute. I'm going to put it there. I don't know why, it's a bit whimsical. So that's where it's going. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to put glue in the middle as well, just so it's not completely stuck down. Like that. It's really cute. Yeah, I think I'll leave that piece how it is. Let's do this piece. I would like another piece of that just coming down the edge here. So when I've got a piece of lace like this, I just dot down bits of glue in some of the thicker areas. And that's usually enough glue to hold your lace on. Especially when it's this 3-in-1, it's really strong. Okay. I'm going to use that other piece of that tag so I don't lose it. And let's use some of this. Now something I do have are some stickers, and I think I'm going to pull those out quickly and just have a little look at those to see if I want any on there. I really like that I'm incorporating this book page in here. Sorry, it's in one of these drawers. Here it is. So some of these are really nice. Obviously I won't use all of this, but I might use just a few of these birds here. What else do we have? Oh look, I love this one. She's a bit big, but I do like that one. Some of these are a bit Halloween-y, like the lungs and the heart. They're actually like a vintage Halloween. I'd got on a mixture so that I have some for when it comes to Halloween. Oh, some of the flowers are really pretty. I think roses over the top of roses is a little bit weird though, I've got to admit. Oh, what about these? These are so nice. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to use. So yeah, my drawers, those type of drawers, they're just like over there. They're just to the side. I do like to ink up my sticker before I pop it on, just to get a bit of a darker hue around the edges. This sticker is a washi tape type sticker. I'm going to show you today how I take off my washi tape stickers. So you need something pointy. Here I've got my awl, and I tend to just sort of dig it in very slightly in a corner in an inconspicuous area, and it lifts up. There we go. So it's all lifted, and that's how I do it. Usually works out a little bit better even than that, but want something on here. I was going to do a word, but I'm not sure if I want a word this time. What should I put on along there? Should I put a number? I've got these little number things here. I can't tell you where these come from. I haven't a clue. Do you know what? I just like that there anyway. I'm just gonna put that down. So yeah, I haven't a clue where this come from. This is in one of the many artists that I use. They're all down in the description box though, all those lovely guys. I just don't know what I'm using all the time, especially when they're not in their pockets. I've got like little pockets and books of ephemera from different artists, and I can tell you them where they're from, but I just haven't a clue. I think I'm just going to leave that for now. I quite like that how it is. So there we go, you can see what that turns out like, and sort of my process of how I decorate them as well. I hope you've enjoyed that. Like I've said before, please like and subscribe. Down in the... So what did I say? You would get cut off, and that is exactly what just happened. So welcome back, and I was just trying to sign off. Like and subscribe, as I was saying. Down in the description box you'll find my Etsy store where I sell all my journals, and as well as my digital kits. You'll find the list of the digital artists that are down there. My website is there, my socials are there, and also my newsletter. And my newsletter only comes out on the 1st. You won't get spammed, I won't send you tons of messages or anything like that. It just comes out on the 1st, and it's just my way of sharing with you a freebie digital. Just make sure when you have downloaded, when you have gotten the email, check your junk mail and your spam just in case it goes into there. Try to save the address that it comes from. Try to save that so that it doesn't keep going into your junk mail. And also make sure you download the freebie, because it won't be there forever, because it sends you to my Google Docs. I take down that freebie to put up a new one each month. So you really need to download that before it's gone, because you'll go on there and it won't be there anymore. So do download that if you want it, of course. If you don't want it, you don't have to download it, it's just there. But if you did want it and you hadn't downloaded it, you will lose it, because I will be taking it off. It won't be staying on there. And that's just because I haven't got all the room in the world in my Google Docs to be able to store them. Over time, very quickly, I'll run out of space. So yeah, do download those as you get them. And I hope you have a wonderful time. I hope you're all well, keep safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now, bye.